Welcome to Conversation with the Conjuror. With us today is Myles Thornton, award-winning magician. I'm Daniel Rivington. This is Alex Johnson. Let's get to it.
One of the things that I try to always ask, and if you've seen any of the other episodes, you might know it's coming, but do you believe in magic?
I
like to always kind of, break up the pace, but maybe I'll cut this out, but I'm just curious. What do you think and what do you believe about extraterrestrials, aliens, life outside of this planet?
I think it definitely has to be there. I think it's like there's so much space.
Now, thanks for joining us, and I really appreciate you coming on.
Yeah, thanks for having me. I'm excited.
Absolutely. And I've got a litany of questions to ask you today, so I hope you don't mind being here for 17 hours while we've done this.
Nothing to do. So, yeah, let's go for it.
I'll get to. Is there anything that you want to plug to start with, so people know what's coming up? For example, I've heard that you're doing a lecture coming up soon.
Yeah, so I'm doing a lecture, about an hour-long lecture, maybe a bit more, on ring magic. So I do a lot of ring magic, so it's organic. You carry it on your finger, take it with you everywhere. And all the proceeds for that go to the Vanishing Ink Youth Fund. That's all going to helping out kids get into magic and magic in different countries and stuff like that. So
it's sort of like the David Copperfield Foundation or whatever.
Yeah, so I think it's a sort of thing. They've got 3 different things they do. They do like magic scholarships where they send like kids to magic conventions to learn, and then they also do stuff in other countries where they use magic to help fundraise and teach kids and stuff like that as well. So
it's fantastic, and it's a great thing you're doing.
Thank you. Yeah, it should be a lot of fun.
Will you be doing your trick circulars?
So I might be teaching that. I'll be teaching a few things that I did a Murphy's Magic lecture a little while back. So some bits from that, some pieces no one's seen, a mixture of stuff.
It sounds brilliant. I'll be sure to check in.
Awesome.
Where can people find that? Is that on the Vanishing Ink website?
No, so it's done independently through me. So if you go over to my Instagram, which is @Myles Thornton, the link will be in my bio, and you'll be able to find it through there.
Absolutely, that's great. Now, I wanted to ask you, you're going to be leaving being a professional magician and going into a university. What you're going to be studying, and what made you make that decision?
Awesome. So I'm going to be studying a master's in digital design, which is like UX design, user experience, and UI design. And so that's like how websites feel to use, how digital projects feel to people to use, and how they look, basically. And the reason why I started doing that is because as a magician, I was a full-time magician. I'm still a full-time magician now because I haven't started just yet. So I work at corporate events, weddings and stuff. And I've always wanted to be a magician since I was a kid, since I was 6 years old when I first started. And I always wanted to be a magician. And then it came along with that was doing gigs, because if you want to be a magician, you have to get paid to do it. That's how it works. And slowly it started to become more of a job and just super stressful. And it started to ruin magic for me. It started to feel way more like a job. I wasn't looking forward to stuff. I was doing all the business stuff during the week and then work on the weekends, so my social life was just gone. So I decided to dial it back during this time, and it was the coronavirus. So I had these thoughts beforehand, but the coronavirus really gave me time to think and reflect on what I want to do and what I want magic to be for me. And I made the decision, and I signed up to the course and got accepted. So
fantastic. And
so you would probably be like the only person that we've really even talked to that is a professional magician. Is like, you know what, I'm moving out to something else. Everyone else is trying to figure out how to be a professional.
Like most people get a normal job, or quote unquote normal job, and then they work part-time as a magician, then try to go full-time. And I did the opposite. So I did go to university. So I went to university and studied business and got a bachelor's degree in business. And then straight after university, I went full-time. So I went to networking events, doing all the prospecting stuff, getting gigs. And it was a lot of fun. I loved it. But again, it just started to feel more stressful. I realised that I could do the same amount of performing, which is what I love to do. I got into magic to perform for people and share my passion with people. I realised I could do the same amount of that, but just less stress.
So it's not necessarily that you're quitting magic. You're just, stopping, doing it full time. You're still going to be performing,
Definitely, yeah. I'm still performing professionally, so I still got loads of clients who still book me for stuff, but I'll just be also working a normal job and just more cherry picking gigs. Because being a full-time magician, you kind of have to take what you get most of the time.
Yeah.
Sometimes that can be really terrible gigs.
So that's kind of like best of both worlds for you then. Congrats. So.
I can enjoy magic. I can get income from it when I want to, but I can also take on projects that won't necessarily make a profit or aren't financially viable. Before I had to focus on the
so now you kind of can focus more so on the art instead of
Before it felt like I was almost just selling magic to people constantly, which is what I was doing. I was prospecting people, cold calling, all this sort of stuff to try to get bookings, and it just took the passion away from it for me. It felt like I was a robot. So it was cool to step away from that, and also not having to rely on magic for income means that if I fancy not doing magic for a month and doing something else, I can. I don't have to force myself to do what I love. So,
what was it that made you, choose or decide to come on the show after he asked?
It was just pretty much straight away. So he sent me some of the podcasts you've done. So I've watched the Maddie Gilbert one, which I think you just had him on, and that's super interesting. And I think it's good to just share stuff with the magic community. I think the more we talk about stuff, the more everyone knows. And everyone's got a different perspective. It seems like a lot of the time magicians are trying to tell you to become a full-time magician, and everything's geared towards becoming this full-time magician. And for some people it's not right. For some people it's better that you keep it as a hobby or part-time or whatever really fits you.
All that matters
for the love of it.
Yeah, as long as you're doing what it is that you love to do.
Now, I wanted to speak to you about releasing an effect. You released Circulus. Was that with Illusionist, I think?
Yeah, Circulus was with Illusionist, and then I also did a Murphy's Magic at the Table lecture.
At the table.
Yeah.
So, Circulus was your first release?
Yeah, so before that I did a free release on Theory 11, The Wire. If you're not sure if you know. It was this platform where you can upload your trick and you can get people to pay for it or not, and I did it for free.
Are they now calling that the Black Label series or something like that?
No, that's Murphy. So Theory 11, I think The Wire is still up, to be honest.
Okay.
I don't think it's not really updated anymore, I don't think.
And do you think your first release with Theory 11 helped get through the door with Illusionist?
No, not at all. I don't think, I didn't even bring it up when I did it. I did that, I released a thing with Theory 11, but submitted it myself. They approved it when I was quite young. I was probably 15. And that was because I just looked up to creators and I created this little flourishy thing, which was really knacky to do. But I put it up for free because I just want to be part of the community, share ideas and stuff, and it was really cool. And then when I wanted to do something for Illusionist, that was a bit later on when I was at university, and I was really taking creating seriously, and not seriously as such, really just delving into creativity and creating tricks and stuff. And so I actually sent them the promo for it. Not the promo, a video of it explaining what it is and showing me performing it. And then they greenlit it, a full ring project. And this is not actually known by many people. So they greenlit a full ring project with me. And I got the train up to Cardiff. I met up with Lloyd Barnes the first time. He's a real great dude. We filmed the release, filmed it all. The trailer got edited, and then we edited everything. Everything was ready. And then a week before, or 2 weeks before it's about to be released, they actually axed it. They're like, no, we can't do this because there's another ring release coming out. We're not going to be able to compete with it. So they axed the project, and that was it. That was that done. And they're really apologetic about it, but that was the project over. And then obviously that's quite a big hit because that was going to be my first release. So I went back to the drawing board, carried on working on it, and I refined the routine a lot more, improved it a lot more. And then I sent them another video, maybe about 1.5 years, 2 years later, if not more. Probably more than that, to be honest. Showing them the new routine, which is the same sort of stuff, and saying to them, do you guys up for giving it one last go? Otherwise, I'll see what other companies are interested. And they were interested. The whole team said, yes, let's do it. And then we really filmed a release Circulus at Blackpool. So.
Fantastic. Do you feel like, because you said that you refined the routine, are you more glad that you did it 1.5 years afterwards, or would you have preferred to have done it
I think
first time around?
I think I'm really happy that it all happened the way it happened. I think what I had was more of a ring project, but it was just like the bits and pieces of moves.
Right.
Circus now, you get a full routine that you can go into, or you can break it down if you want to.
Yeah.
And I feel like I grew into myself a lot more over the time and stuff like that. So.
Fantastic. Now, the at the table lecture. How did they approach you? Did you approach them? How did that come about?
So they approached me, but it came about through networking. Well, kind of networking, just meeting up with friends and jamming. I met up with a guy called Christian Grace over here in the UK.
Yeah.
He created Level 1, which is like the most amazing.
The card, deck thing.
Yeah, he's such a clever guy. He's so good at like ideas, sleight of hand, everything. And they asked Christian to do a Murphy's Magic lecture. And for some reason, I think he should have done it, but he wasn't up for doing it just yet. Maybe he thought he was working on other projects and stuff. So he recommended them to check out my stuff, and then they checked out my stuff and then asked me if I wanted to come along. So thank you, Christian, for hooking me up.
That's great. And what was the experience like there? Did they flew you out to America?
Flew me out to Sacramento, which is where their base is. It's where their warehouse is and when they film all the stuff as well. And then we filmed it, and then I stayed, like you stay overnight, you film it in the morning, and then usually people probably fly home, but I stayed a day and then went to LA for a couple of days as well before I went home. So I could go to like the Magic Castle and stuff like that. So. Yeah,
did you see the Magic Castle?
Yeah, I went inside it. Yeah, my friend Tyler Rabs, he's based over there, and he got me in, showed me around, introduced me to everyone. He was a really great host. So.
Fantastic. Now, since it's been locked down, we've all been stuck in the house, and there's been a lot of lectures online. Which ones have you watched?
So let me think. So I watched a guy called Luke Ostlin's lecture most recently.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, he's a young chap. I think he's probably about 18. He must be 18 now. But he's been a youngster. I've known him for quite a few years now, since he was just a little kid. And he's super creative. He creates these amazing gimmick stuff. And he actually consults for TV magicians now. So he works for Dynamo, and he works with illusionists quite a lot and stuff like that. So like,
they just released a trick with them that's really good.
Yeah, the TNT, I think it is, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, really good. And he's such a chill guy. And so I checked out his lecture, and he's got some really good stuff on his lectures. I think he's actually stopping doing them now, but maybe if you guys message him enough, he'll do some more. There's some really good stuff. He teaches, I don't want to say too much, he teaches a really good trick with celebrations, you know, like the sweets you get at Christmas, the little sweets. He teaches it a trick with one of those, so that's really cool.
Little chocolate candies for Alex there.
Yeah, I'm not sure what you have over in America, but yeah, just little wrapped up sweets. But yeah, it's really great lecture, super creative. That's the most recent thing I checked out.
Fantastic.
And then also, sorry to interrupt, is the Burnout podcast, the Burnout live streams.
With David Copperfield.
Yeah,
it's crazy how we got those. I mean, obviously Burnout's like, you know, a big name for us as magicians.
Yeah.
But there's some big names on there. David Blaine.
Yeah, he really did the community proud of that one. Studio 52, his company, did amazing with that. They could have easily done those, sold tickets to those and stuff like that, but now they put it out to us for free, and it's incredible that they did that. Those are
on his Instagram, wasn't it?
Yeah, on his Instagram, Studio 52. I think he's actually doing a new one soon, which is actually a lecture. So if anyone wants to go check that out, go check out Studio 52. Yeah.
Is that Ben Earls doing a lecture, or is hosting a lecture?
Ben Earls doing a lecture, so it'll be
right. Well, that'd be great, because that guy's amazing.
Yeah, he's so good. He's a real deep thinker, thinks about a lot of stuff, and he's just great. Yeah, I've seen his lecture a few times. So
one of the things that I try to always ask, and if you've seen any of the other episodes, you might know it's coming, but do you believe in magic?
Yeah, definitely. I'm not sure I believe in magic as in like what we do is magic, but I think there's so much stuff that's just unexplainable. That's just like feels like magic. I believe in the feeling of magic, definitely.
Do you have any experiences that, you know, unexplainable thing, just any random weird thing that, you know, comes to mind?
Yeah, I think the first time seeing like magic performed to me, the feeling was nuts. Like, it was just mind blowing. It just warps your reality. And even seeing like stuff that's not even magic, stuff that your brain just can't comprehend. Mm-hmm. Like, I feel like a weird feeling. It's a weird feeling when I see like footage of animals that I haven't seen before, or like a blue whale. Like, my head can't comprehend how big a blue whale is, and so see, it just doesn't believe, how can that thing exist? How does that exist?
Well, its dick's as big as a bus.
There we go. That's. I could probably, yeah. I'm gonna stop talking about whale penises now. But,
how do you think that intuition and just being able to read and feel and understand people, how do you think that has influenced or affected your magic career?
I think it's massive. The gut feeling that you get when you're performing, that when you're performing to a group, you know what to do. Once you start performing a lot, you get this feeling that, oh, this group will like this group will like that, this joke will work with this group and stuff like that. You just get this feeling. And it's really hard to explain. It's just like instinct. You just know that I can do these sort of jokes with this group because you can feel the dynamic of the group.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, my girlfriend calls me like a social comedian. So when I'm with a certain group, I start acting very similar to them. And when I'm with a different group, I start acting very similar to them as well. I think it's just because of what I've done as a job for the past 3 to 5 years. You just get used to it.
Yeah. Do you think being a social chameleon is a good thing, or could it be a hindrance in some situations?
I think it's a good thing. So I don't really change who I am. I always have my still core beliefs. Like, I'm not going to hang around with a bunch of racists and suddenly become racist. Like, I still have my core beliefs that I believe in.
Yeah.
But I just change how I approach people and how I speak to people. You can definitely get away with different humor with different groups. And like, a lot of time, like, you've got to be careful that you don't try and do it purposely. Because if you try and do it, then you'll notice straight away. There's a really funny interview where Quentin Tarantino is being interviewed by a hip hop broadcast. So he's surrounded by loads of like African American people, and he starts talking like them and taking on their mannerisms, and it seems really, it's really cringy. You can see him trying to get in and stuff, and you don't want to do that.
Yeah,
you don't want to, like,
we've all done it though. We've all done it.
I'm terrible. When I talk to my friend who's from Liverpool, I take on his accent for some reason. I lived with him for 3 years at university. And if I'm talking to him, I start having a twang to my voice. I don't know why.
Yeah.
Gonna go get a chicken shawarma from the candy shop.
I'd like to hear your southern accent, Myles.
My southern accent.
Yeah, try to talk like an American.
Talk like an American. Southern. So that's what. Howdy.
Pretend your parents are cousins.
Howdy.
Howdy, y'all.
They all sound. It's not a skill of mine. Definitely not.
That's one of the crazy things, though. About the UK. It's like, it's such a pretty relatively small area, but like the accents are all over the place. I guess it's kind of similar in the States, but
like, it blew my mind when we were in the States, like just how big everything is. So when I was out there, I made some friends with some people, and then I saw that California had an earthquake. So I thought, I better message my friend to check he's okay. He was like, oh no, that was like 6 hours away. And I was like, what do you mean? Like, here we can get to the other side of the country in like 8 hours. So like, it's nuts.
Oh yeah. It's like the wildfires and everything going on, because I'm here, in San Diego. People be asking, it's like, are you okay? I heard California's burning down. It's like, I mean, it's a desert, it's a lot of area to burn,
Yeah. It's hard to comprehend how big it is when I was over there.
You said you went to Sacramento and you were in Los Angeles?
And LA. Just those two.
Okay. So you've never really been outside of California then, huh?
No, I thought while I was over there, I definitely want to take the opportunity to travel a bit, but I had to get back for gigs on the weekends. So like,
I didn't really realize how big the U.S. was until I drove from East Tennessee to Los Angeles, like all the way across the country, and stopping at all the cool places like Roswell, New Mexico, trying to find the aliens. But as soon as I finally got there, my dang car breaks down. And so then I'm stranded in Los Angeles.
There you go. That sounds like
at least it didn't break down halfway,
Yeah, I mean, very thankful that I made it all the way. But
you could have been stuck somewhere in New Mexico with a probe upside you, and you could be having a different conversation right now. It could be on like a Joe Rogan, Bob Lazar experience type.
Yeah, this interview would be very uptight then.
Sorry, the mothership's calling, not the same.
Yeah.
So you do contact juggling, Myles, and I wanted to ask you how you blend that in with magic, because you do take it to gigs, don't you? The contact juggling ball.
Yeah. So it's a big part of my performance, the contact juggling, and it's my opener. So when I'm at an event, I'll show up, and usually I'm at an event for 2-3 hours. I'll do an hour or two walk around while everyone's having their drinks and stuff, and then an hour around the tables, or depending on how big the event is. And so as soon as I start walking to the crowd, I'm contact juggling. I'm performing the contact juggling, and I'm just saying hello to people, stuff like that. And when people take an interest, I'll let them check it out, perform a bit for them. And usually for the walk around section, I purely just do contact juggling and just chatting to people. Just letting them know I'm a magician, I'm going to be here for the evening. And usually by the time I've got around everyone just perform that little bit of contact juggling, because the size of events I usually do, it's time for them to go in for their meals. And it's just a perfect icebreaker. They approach you, so I prefer it to more as like, usually if I don't have the ball, I'd have to approach them and be like, excuse me, my name's Myles Thornton, I'm a magician for this evening, and do that sort of thing. So you're interrupting, and it's a very different dynamic because you're asking if you can perform. Whereas if I walk in the contact juggling ball, people will look at me and usually call me over or ask about what it is. And that creates a different dynamic. So now I'm being invited in by them, and it's a warmer welcome for me, I find.
Would it be all right if I got some of your videos and played it over, edited it over?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, videos you find of me you can use. So go for it.
Sweet. Speaking on contact juggling, I saw this one man. I don't know where he's from. I think maybe somewhere in Italy or something like that. He's bald, super skinny, and he was doing the contact juggling. And he closes his eyes, and his eye color changes. Have you?
Right. He balances balls on his head and stuff like that. He's like in a meditative.
Yeah. Do you know who that dude is? Like, what his name is?
No, I do not. I've seen it. He goes like every time someone puts up a video of him, he goes like super viral because he's a very interesting character to watch. And he performs it almost as if it's like some real magic that he's been taught by like monks or something like that. It seems very mystical when he performs it.
So, do you smoke, Myles?
No, I don't. No.
Because you've got a fantastic trick called warm up.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I do that all the time when I'm in a smoking area.
Yeah.
And I just wondered how you. I mean, you do the thing and you take it off and then throw it back on. You know, it's like a joke. Do you ever approach people with that trick?
Definitely, it's a fantastic opener. I've used that openers when I do tables because it's quite a small lighter, so it's packed full, but it plays big. You can do it on stage if you want to, because all the time translates really well. So the effect is I have a lighter, I light it, I take off the flame, throw the flame in the air, and put it back on. It's just a funny joke sort of thing. Everyone laughs and disappointed. And I do it again, and when I throw it back on, the lighter vanishes, and I can go into your set. I created it because I think it's quite like a lowball effect at first. So I really like letting people know what sort of character I am, and I'm there to have a bit of fun and not to be taken too seriously. So when you big it up like this, and they're watching you do this, you get a laugh, and people relax a bit. So now they're ready to have a good time, and then they're expecting the same thing again. So as soon as that vanishes, you've got a really strong magic. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that works.
Yeah, you got a really strong moment of magic, and then you can go into your set. So it's a real quick opener. It's a funny opener. It gets my character across really well. So.
Speaking on that,
sorry to interrupt you, Alex, but we can put that in. We'll put in the we'll overlay the video with the. I might need you to send me on WhatsApp if we can't find it elsewhere.
It's called warm. You said it's called warm up.
I'll send you Instagram video. You can download it through there. Probably.
Yeah, don't send through WhatsApp because it compresses it too much. I'll just download it from Insta or whatever.
Yeah, you'll find if you just scroll through my videos, you'll see me performing it. Yeah, it's the one the lighter.
But you said something that I thought was kind of interesting because you were saying about the throwing the flame up and then throwing it up, and then you said when they're expecting or least expecting it, you switch it. That's kind of like a similar principle that comedians use. Do you think that there's like a perfect ratio for that? The fooling. Do you understand what I mean?
Yeah, I get what you mean. Definitely. I don't know if there's a formula because I think it's different for everyone. Mm-hmm. If you watch David Blaine, he rarely ever makes people laugh. He sometimes does come out with a joke, and therefore it's even funnier when he does because it's just so unexpected.
Yeah.
But most of the time he's quite serious and focused on magic, so that works for him. But for me, I like to have a bit more fun, a bit more, like stuff like that.
But just speaking, strictly in theory, what if we could sit here and even try to develop, a formula for that? What do you think it would be? It's like, how would you know whenever someone? Yeah, I mean, magic, comedy, whatever. How would you know the timing? The timing is something that you just happen to know, right?
Yeah, so I think you can do a really basic form. The timing is learnt, and again, that's unique to everyone. Everyone has different timing. But there's a formula that I tend to try to follow a lot of my magic, which is one, you start off with a thing that they can remember. So I have a lighter, or I have like a purse I take a coin out of. And then next, you want to set an expectation. So you want to set something up like something's going to happen. And then you fail that something happening. So that's the moment of relaxation.
Okay.
And then straight after that, you hit them hard in the face with a strong moment of magic. And hopefully bring it back full circle.
Yeah.
So what you had at the beginning, you bring it back round to whatever you end with.
So if we could break down something like the ambitious card, ambitious card routine, same thing. And then like the grand finale is you think it's here, but no, it's actually up in your mouth or whatever.
Exactly that. Yeah. So again, you're setting an expectation and then you're failing it, but then beating it somehow. You're overachieving.
And how would you bring it back full circle? What do you mean by that?
So I do a routine called Full Circle, and it's a coin trick, and you could come full circle quite a lot of effects, but basically at the start of the routine, I have a purse, I open a purse and take out a coin, and then I do loads of magic with coins and stuff, and at the end of the routine, the purse reappears, and inside the purse is the coin. So you're bringing it back around to that same visual again, and I think that's really satisfying within films, magic. I'm not sure if you've seen the film The Prestige.
No, I'm not.
I'm a big fan of that film.
Amazing film. It's by Christopher Nolan, and it's got like Hugh Jackman in it. It's got Christian Bale. It's got fantastic.
Batman in it, dude.
Yeah.
Got Batman.
But at the start of the film, they show a scene which you don't realise, but it actually explains the whole film almost. It shows you what the film's based on, and you don't realise that's happened until the end. And then it clocks, and it's that full circle. You kind of go, that's amazing. It was there the whole time, and I didn't see it.
Speaking on Quentin Tarantino, he kind of does that, like in Pulp Fiction, for example, has the ending, but you don't know it's the ending, and then it's all over the place, and then at the very end, it comes back full circle.
You start to piece it together. It clicks in your head. It's such a satisfying, entertaining moment that it works well for magic. Comedians use it all the time. They bring jokes back full circle all the time.
Callbacks.
Stuff like that. It's really entertaining, and it's really fun to happen to the brain, especially when you're not expecting it.
But do you think that there actually is a pattern there that everybody kind of knows, even if it's unconscious or subconsciously? It's like, because it works in comedy and magic, so it's like you're not expecting it, but you appreciate the cleverness of it. But so in a way, you kind of are expecting it.
Yeah, I definitely think if you sat down and thought about a film and you watched I'm going to try and catch this film out, I'm going to try and catch this magician out, you can probably pick out the moments where they go, okay, that will come back later on. But most people don't do that. You sit down and film, you relax, you have a popcorn, you have a drink. What
do they call that? Foreshadowing, I think.
Yeah, but you're not trying to catch a film out, and a lot of people don't try and catch magicians out. They're just there to have a good time. So therefore, when it comes back full circle, you're not expecting it.
So a good performance has those elements, even if you don't really realize that you're doing.
Yeah.
So we've spoken on the show before about mentors.
Mm-hmm.
Are you someone who's taught yourself, or have you had mentors help you along the way? And maybe give a shout out to those people if you've got some.
Yeah, definitely. So it's a mixture of both. So I taught myself, and I did have a mentor. When I was it's probably my 14th birthday, my family friend was a magician, and I got introduced to him, and he kind of took me under his wing. But he's a very, very different magician. He's very, very funny. I do jokes and stuff, but nowhere near his level. He's like David Williamson level funny. He's so outrageous and bubbly and loud and stuff. And so he took me under his wing, and he didn't really teach me magic. He just showed me him performing. He took me to gigs and gave me the experience, and had the confidence there to ask him advice if he's there. So that's Timmy Taylor. He's an amazing magician, and he should be more famous, but he's lazy. So
how do you spell his name, his last name?
Taylor, so Taylor.
Taylor, okay, gotcha.
And so he's incredible. And then also just loads of magicians. When I was 11 years old, I joined a magic society called the Associated Wizards of the South. And that's based in Southampton, and it's the 5th oldest magic society in the world, or the 6th oldest in the world. It's the 4th oldest in the UK. And Harry Houdini used to be a member of the club that I'm a part of now. So that's really cool.
You guys,
yeah, so I joined that when I was 11, and then all the members became a mentor in a way. Even if I saw them and thought they were terrible, that's teaching me something. I know that I don't want to be like them. Like, so you learn from everyone you meet. So like, they all became my mentors, and now I'm the president of the Associated Wizards of the South. So.
Oh, right. So do you have to wear the bling? Do you get the bling?
Yeah, I do have the bling. I find it embarrassing to wear, but I do wear it. It feels a bit too showy-offy for me, but I do wear it. Yeah, and it's a cool piece of history. It's got all our past presidents on. So.
Do you care to say the association again? I couldn't hear you. I want to write it down so I can look it up.
Yes, yeah, Associated Wizards of the South.
Huh.
So you're speaking to the president. So.
Oh, yeah.
Mr. President.
The youngest ever president. Yeah.
Really. Cool. That is awesome. You know, like.
So you're still a young buck now. When did you start magic?
6 years old.
Well, yeah, 6. So I started when I was 6 with just like little magic sets and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And then it was around about 10, 11 is where it really like started being like, this is an obsession. Like.
Yeah.
Do you think that there's
but at what point did you start? Sorry to interrupt you.
Yeah,
at what point did you actually start performing paid gigs?
Probably quite young. So like my mum was very encouraging with it. And like if we're out for a meal and we're waiting for our dinner to be served, she'd be like, go perform for them. And then when I was performing for these people, they started to give me tips because I was a cute kid, probably doing terrible magic, but I was a cute kid. So they were giving me like pound coins and stuff. And I was like, this is awesome. I probably did a kid's birthday party when I was about 13. And then that was my first paid gig. Probably not much.
Yeah, awesome though, eh?
Enough to buy some like, I don't know, action figures or whatever I was into, Pokemon cards. So
what I was
doesn't sound like my childhood then. Mine would have been a bit more nefarious, I think.
What I've been trying to say here though, guys, it seems like there's a kind of like an advantage for any magician, born in the UK, because there's all these societies and, circles and everything. It's like, like out here in the States, I guess, the States isn't as old, doesn't have the history. But I mean, I'm learning about things I didn't even know existed, Like he's part of the, what do you say, the Leeds Magic Circle? Yeah. Yeah.
I'm part of the,
Here are the only things that I know of, I guess, Hollywood, you have the Magic Castle, but.
This is a slightly different thing, I think, but there's also here the Magic Circle, which is sort of the big club that's based in London, and there's sort of like a level of prestige that goes with that. Like people put it on the business cards and such things, but I think America's got quite a lot of conventions. Am I right in thinking that?
Yeah. I mean, there's several conventions and things that come around, but. It's interesting the actual history, behind, magicians. They always say it's like, well, how do magicians learn? It has to come from somewhere. I mean, I guess, you could develop your own things, but read from books, but it's important to have people that can show you like things that Dan's been, showing me. Then he said he had, mentors.
Yeah. I mean, I'd say I've probably got 3 mentors, and each of them have helped me in a different way. I mean, they're not like officially mentors or anything. It's not like I said. It's not like I walked up to them and said, will you be my mentor? I want to learn from you. That kind of thing. It's just sort of they're my friends first, most and foremost. But then I've learned so much of them that I class them as my mentors. And I think the more people that you meet in magic, the more mentors you get. And the longer you've been doing it, you're going to take a lot of inspiration from a lot of different people. Now, Myles, who would you say you took inspiration for your performance style from? If anybody at all, or if you're just trying to be yourself?
So back in the day, I tried, like when you first start out on magic, you usually try to become other magicians. So like when I was like maybe 12, I was trying to be Lance Burton, trying to do like a dove act without doves, like with candles and stuff.
Yeah.
All like that. And then I probably had like a David Blaine phase where I was trying to be like David Blaine. They go for these phases of like, I want to be Darren Brown, I want to be this. And then you slowly just realize that if you just be yourself and choose the magic that you like to do, it kind of works out. So I only perform magic that I like. I don't care what the audience likes. If I'm having fun, then they'll have fun. So.
But I mean, I guess kind of like a part of, developing, you have to kind of mimic the people that you look up to a certain degree to be able to find your own style, right?
Yeah, definitely. You find out what works for you, what you enjoy doing. And I still take inspiration from loads of different people. Like Rune Clan's a big inspiration for me. David Williamson's a big inspiration for loads of people.
So funny, that guy. So funny.
And like, I just wanted that sort of thing where it felt like there wasn't this mystical person. They're just like a guy having fun with magic sort of thing.
That's great. Now, is there anything that you're wanting to promote at the moment, other than we spoke about the Vanishing Ink ring lecture for the youth fund? Is there anything else? Is there anything else you're peddling at the moment, or?
No, just if you want to check out like the sort of magic I do, I always create like little fun videos for Instagram.
I love watching them because you post them on the magic groups as well. And I actually, before I met you, I knew your face from those videos. So I felt like I kind of knew you, even though I didn't know you.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah, there's so many people that I've talked to online that I've never met in person, or we've only ever talked over Instagram or Facebook and stuff. And that's what's great about conventions. Like you get to put faces to names and stuff like that. I was talking to one guy for like 10 minutes, Rodney Rise. And then it suddenly clicked that we've been talking for ages on Instagram. I didn't realize 10 minutes into the conversation. I was like, well, no, I do know, like, I know you. Like, so like stuff like that is just so cool. And happens at conventions and stuff. I've got friends that I see like once a year. So.
Now, Alex, is there anything you want to ask, or should we start to wrap this up?
I mean, there's a lot of things that I want to ask, just because I have, I like to always kind of, break up the pace. But maybe I'll cut this out. But I'm just curious. What do you think, and what do you believe about extraterrestrials, aliens, life outside of this planet?
I think it definitely has to be there. I think it's like there's so much space in space that I think there has to be something else out there. I think it's strange to assume that we're the only thing and planet Earth's the only thing. I don't know whether they're smart life forms. I don't know whether it might just be some, I don't know, slug-like forms on the planet.
But like dealing with, if you believe that the universe is infinite or whatever, dealing with infinity, it would have to be, there would have to be intelligent, beings out there somewhere. That's not necessarily a magic-related topic. I just wanted to.
No, it's interesting. Yeah, actually, I was looking at an article today. I was reading an article about where gold comes from, and how gold is like technically some of it's actually from space and stuff like that. Which is really interesting. I don't want to talk too much about it because I probably sound stupid. The article does it for justice, but
the truth is out there.
Thanks for answering that, though. That's cool.
No problem. No, I've never seen anything.
Yeah.
I'd love to see something.
The reason that I brought that up is just because the other day I saw on the news that this is some old video circulating, but recently the Navy, the U.S. Navy, released some UFO footage saying that this shit's real. And then just like last week or something like that, it actually was released by the Pentagon, and the Pentagon actually acknowledged it. They didn't say, "Hey, alien disclosure," but. Just one of those things. It's like, man, there has to be something that's going on.
At least it's something that's on the news that's not frigging coronavirus.
So
just like kind of.
I'll actually share an experience I had with you, and I was younger. I can't remember how old I was. Maybe 14, 15, and I was stood outside my house, and I saw this strange light in the sky. and it was sort of like a purpley pink, and it was shooting through the sky, but it was going so fast. And I thought, oh, that must be a shooting star. And then it stopped dead, and it changed direction, and it shot another way, going insanely fast. Like, I thought to start with it was a laser pointer, and then it flew towards me again, and then it shot another way, and it was like it was doing a zigzag formation over it, and I have no idea what it was, but I saw the shape of it, and it wasn't a plane. It was definitely circular shaped. I thought, maybe it's probably a satellite. It's probably just, but the way it was moving, absolutely not a satellite. I don't know what it was. Maybe.
I think that's probably one of the reasons, why people just try to, directly avoid the topic, is because they can't really even explain it, because they don't even understand what they saw. Then you try to explain, and people are like, "Okay, bro."
Yeah. Well, I
remember being like overcome with the feeling of fear, because like how you fear what you don't understand. I was like, I shouldn't be seeing this right now, it seemed so
foreign,
so crazy,
so alien.
So sorry, I interrupted you. What were you about to say, Myles?
I say, like, it's a very so I suffer from night terrors, so I get them like all the time throughout the week.
Like sleep paralysis, night terrors,
and like hallucination stuff while I'm half asleep.
Yeah.
And when that first started happening, I could see why people think they're being visited by demons and stuff like that. Because if you don't know what it is and you can't explain it, then this sort of stuff I've seen in my room would be terrifying.
Did you see the podcast with Ryan Loyal, the previous episode?
No.
I was talking to him last night about it, and somehow the topic of night terrors and sleep paralysis came up. And he's like, "Man, I'm serious, man. Like, I saw the Hat Man," and I'm like, "What is the Hat Man?" But there seems to be like a common, phenomenon with people that have these experiences. They have the same, experiences.
Yeah,
I've seen similar.
I've seen one called it's like known as the Old Hag, and so you can't move your body, and it's just an old, like, decrepit face of a lady is there in front of you. Like, that was one of the first ones I had. I saw.
How long does that experience last? Is it something that's just like, for a few minutes? Like, when I've had sleep paralysis, it's like, only like maybe 60 seconds that I'm able to pull out of it or something. It doesn't happen often.
It's never happened too long for me. Maybe maximum like 2 minutes when it first started.
It seems like infinity, probably, though.
Like, what I suffer from more now is I don't actually get the sleep paralysis, but I just get the hallucinations. So I'll sit up in bed and my eyes are open, my partner's looking at me, but I can see someone in the room and there's no one there. That's like, I see silhouettes and stuff like that, and they move towards me, and I can hear stuff sometimes, stuff like that. So,
do you think that that's something, from your psychology, or do you think there could actually be some sort of, thing in the dimension that we just can't perceive with our normal senses?
I think it's most likely. I think it's the brain, like, tricking you because you're half asleep and stuff.
Yeah.
But I can't say for sure. Like, I don't believe in ghosts.
Yeah.
But I'd love to see one. Like,
yeah. I don't know if I'd love to see one. I don't really believe in ghosts, but I do believe there's things out there that maybe we can't necessarily perceive, but they're, your eyes can only perceive, the visible spectrum of light, So
you said maybe you thought it's because you're half asleep. Maybe it's known that a chemical is activated in your mind that's called DMT.
Dimethyltryptamine, some crazy ass shit.
Dimethyltryptamine. It's when people drink the ayahuasca with a shaman, it's supposed to take you to another place, but it's something that's released in your brain and it's particularly when you're sleeping. Maybe it's just your body still reacting or still releasing the DMT. It's like a chemical response to you being half awake, half asleep.
Have you guys ever had the experience that whenever you wake up from a very deep and heavy sleep and you look over at the walls, and it's kind of like the walls are still kind of patterning back together, like your consciousness is just now coming back in, so it's like in between the dream world and consciousness? So yeah, maybe that could be it.
Yeah, definitely. Because it's not always scary stuff. Like I get night terrors about like a fish flying around my room or like a dog or something like that. They're not always scary. It's just most of the time it's not actually there. So.
This turned into a very interesting and awesome conversation.
It's like the Joe Rogan podcast now.
Yeah, that's the same thing Maddie said. He's like, man, this turned into the Joe Rogan podcast. It's like, but that's what's funny though is I was inspired to even have this idea because I saw Banachek on Joe Rogan, and Banachek fooling him so bad with the spoons. It's like, oh man, I even tagged Joe Rogan and Banachek in one of the previous posts because in another post, Banachek commented on one of my Insta posts. And I was like, I mean, I'm just going to go ahead and just tag them both in or whatever. Yeah. If they see it, whatever. If they don't.
I don't know. Yeah.
Joe Rogan did a show with Banachek on it where you can actually see Banachek doing his stage stuff for Joe Rogan. I think it's the premise of the show is that Joe Rogan is like trying to find out about Bigfoot and aliens and stuff like that. And for the mind reading part, or I can't remember what. I think it was the second one of the show. I think Joe Rogan, some things, everything. I can't. It's drawing a blank right now, but he's actually goes to see Banachek's stage show and is like bending spoons for him and shit, and like totally blowing Joe Rogan's mind, like no other. And that's worth seeing.
You can tell in that really in the podcast, you know, the episode where he was Banachek was performing. You could tell that Joe, he was like so frustrated because he's like, you're doing this right in front of my eyes, and specifically the one where the spoon actually twisted all the way around, and he's like, you know, banging the forks or whatever together. But yeah, it's like I love the Joe Rogan experience.
Do you guys watch any other podcasts other than Joe Rogan?
Yeah, I watched one in the UK with two guys called the Happy Hour podcast.
Okay, and who's on that?
So I think it mostly just a YouTuber called Jack Mate and his mates, but it's quite a fun, just casual listen. So that's pretty good. Like just chatting about funny stuff. So.
What about you, Alex? Is there any particular podcast you watch?
I mean, you know, you might not believe this, but I'm so ADD. I could just, you know, like maybe a minute or two of just a couple of things. Like it takes a lot for me to be able to sit down and sink in.
I do believe that. I don't know why you think I wouldn't believe that.
Yeah, I mean, you know, it's not obvious that I'm ADHD. You know, come on.
I watch one that's got two comedians. There's actually three podcasts I watch. I watch the Joe Rogan Experience because it's fantastic and it's got the most amazing guests. There's one called Bad Friends, which has got Bobby Lee and Andrew Santino, who are a pair of comedians. And I just like hearing those guys riffing. You know, they're just like a couple of interesting dudes. Mm-hmm. And then there's one called History Hyenas, where it's two New York comedians. I like. I'm really into comedy. It's, you know, one of my biggest passions. And so it's these two guys, Yanis Papas and Chris DiStefano, and they actually talk about history and historic events, but with a bunch of dick jokes. And they've got a similar sense of humor to me, but way funnier. You know, way funnier. Those guys are great. Really
you do have your moments though. Sometimes you can be pretty funny.
Oh, like the Magic Johnson joke.
So Myles, man, it was awesome having you on the show, brother. Thank you so much for coming on. Do you want to perform anything on here? Or?
Yeah, let's do it. Let's show you.
All right.
Hey.
I'll pin the video.
Routines. I use this all the time. It's called Impromptu Assassin. So I'll show you. So it uses a Sharpie. You may actually wonder why you don't see magicians carry wands anymore. It's because we use Sharpies. We disguise them as Sharpies. So Sharpie actually stands for Sorcerer's Handy and Rare Prestidigitation Implement E. I couldn't think of anything for the last. We'll use a Sharpie and we'll use a ring. So if you watch the ring closely, what we'll have to do is give a tap like this, and the ring completely vanishes. You see how we can?
What?
Sorry, 1 second. We'll try again. I think I know what went wrong. We'll give it another go. If I give a tap like this, there we go. The ring will actually disappear completely. So that's a Sharpie, which must be under here.
Get out of here. What?
What's meant to happen is as soon as the ring touches the end of the Sharpie, that's where it's meant to vanish. We'll do it out in the open. We'll do it dead straight to here.
What?
I tell you what, we'll give it one last go. Maybe I'm doing something slightly wrong. So before I was tapping it once and expecting the ring to vanish. But I think it's actually 2 taps. I think it's 2 taps and the ring should go. Ready? 1, 2. There we go. There we go. The ring's completely gone.
That is incredible.
The pen and never mind.
I love that ending. That's so great.
And
That's
that
so great.
now it's full circle back to the timing.
There you go. Yeah.
That's why I said we should get this guy on, man. He's a real
That is
professional. He's great.
Thank you.
That is
I
amazing.
really enjoy that routine. I've seen it before, and it just makes me happy when I see it.
Thank you very much.
That was dope. Coin routines and ring routines, they always just completely fool me.
They're my favourite types. I love rings and coins and stuff like that. I do like cards. I tend to create more with coins and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm. I mean, you can do that anywhere, and it's completely unexpected. If you're out somewhere like, hey, I'm a magician, look at these cards, But
Yeah.
the ring and the Sharpie, it's like, wow.
Yeah, and I've used you can use a straw and like a cocktail stir, anything. I've performed that like in a jacuzzi in Spain, and people don't even speak the same language, but I can perform that and they understand what's going on. So.
That's it. It's, I think stuff like that's more accessible. For example, you might not know that this is the 6 of diamonds.
Yeah.
You know what a ring is.
Yeah.
You know what a Sharpie is. It's more accessible and it's
You can
more.
walk up to anybody anywhere and just, be like David Blaine, just like not even say look, just do it,
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, they get the idea. I think it comes across. Yeah.
That's incredible, man.
Right, so thanks for joining us today.
Good, thanks
Really
for having me.
appreciate it. To everybody at home, please like, subscribe, all the things. We hope to see you again soon. Myles, thanks for spending your time with us,
Thank you very much.
and I hope to have you on again because you were absolutely fantastic.
Great.
Where can people find you? And we'll drop the links below.
Yeah, so find me mostly on Instagram at Myles Thornton, and I'm also on Facebook at Myles Thornton. So
You got a new fan though, man. I just followed you earlier today, man.
thank you. Thank
You
you.
got a new fan.
Cheers. Yeah, I look forward to just drop me a message anytime you want to chat and stuff. So
But yeah,
And
I'll put all the links and all that good stuff.
I actually met you two on the same day, in the same
Wait,
place.
wait, let me guess. Was it at Blackpool?
I'm drawing a blank. I don't know.
exactly, you meet new friends at these conventions. So if you can, try meet as many magicians as you can. You meet some dickheads, but the good ones make up for it. So
Yeah, ain't that the truth? All right. Any final words at all before I cut this recording off?
no, good.
All right, brother. Thanks again. And recording is stopped.